I will call to order the Ottawa City Commission meeting for Wednesday, February 4th. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Clayton,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley,
Present.
Commissioner Allen,
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore,
Present.
and Commissioner Van Layden.
Present.
We are all present and accounted for. I want to welcome all the guests here in the audience today, as well as those watching online. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation by Pastor Dakota Smith from Ottawa Bible.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How are we doing this evening? Good to see you all. As a pastor, I see life and death literally in the same week, often. That's just the dynamics of the job. You celebrate the birth of an individual, and you are also able to see others pass on. And just some verses that have been on my heart before we pray and enter in tonight. It's from Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verses 1 and 2. Let me just read it, and I'll explain. I hope it's not too morbid for a city commission meeting, but I think it holds good truth. Verse 1, a good name, or you could say a good reputation, is better than a good ointment. And the day of one's death, listen to this, the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. How could he say that? Look at verse 2. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to a house of feasting, because that is the end of every person, and those who live take it to heart. In what sense could death, the day of one's death, be better than the day of one's birth? I think it's because it often causes you to think about what life is all about. Everyone in this room, we often consume ourselves with things that have limited value, but there are things that deserve our time for ultimate value. And I think the very first word of having a good name is so important for everything else in life that we pursue. A good name before the Lord and a good name before people. That's more precious than anything else in life. And so let us humble ourselves to examine how much time am I giving myself to things that don't necessarily invest in a good name. So with that being said, let me pray for you tonight. Father, we just ask, with humble hearts, help us to have wisdom for tonight's meeting. Tonight's meeting is important because it ultimately concerns people, and people are valuable. And so thank you for this evening. Thank you for our leaders. We ask that they would be given a true wisdom to work through issues and have discernment. Not a selfish wisdom, but a true wisdom that works and is based in truth and benefits all. Thank you for the hard work and the time they put in to leading our community. They've left time with family to do so. And Lord, we thank you so much for each and every one of them. Thank you for your love for us, and thank you for this community. Pray that in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Pastor. That'll take us to item 6, public comments.
We have none registered.
None registered. We will move on to item 7, appointments, proclamations, recognitions, and nominations. Item A is a proclamation recognizing February 2026 as Black History Month. February has been set aside nationally for Black History Month to allow an opportunity for citizens to become aware of the contributions African Americans have made. Lauren Wright will accept the proclamation read by Commissioner Skidmore.
Yes. And the proclamation reads this way. Whereas in 1915, Dr. Carter G. Woodson created the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, now called the Association of the Study of Afro-American Life and History, and in 1926 introduced Negro History Week. And whereas in 1976, as a part of the American Bicentennial Celebration, the week was extended to a month and is now officially known as Black History Month. And whereas February has been set aside nationally for the observance of Black history, allowing an opportunity for many citizens in Ottawa to become aware of the contributions that African Americans have made toward the empowerment of the Ottawa community and country. And whereas today, Black History Month continues to be an important time of reflection and celebration for all Americans. And whereas this observance of Black History Month must lead to the day when the history of the world will be void of natural bias, race, hate, and religious prejudice. Now therefore be it resolved, we as a community assess where we are positioned at this time in our history and determine where we are going in the future. Let it be further be resolved that a true and objective presentation of history eliminates the foundation of racism for some and increases the self-esteem of others. Now therefore the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas does hereby recognize the month of February 2026 as Black History Month and urges our citizens to join in this observance on this signed day, the 4th of February 2026 by our Mayor, Zach Clayton.
Thank you. Lord, you want Thank you. Feel free to speak, Richard. You as well. Yeah, she's going to speak.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Wright. I'm a student at Ottawa University, and I'm the student body vice president there. One of my favorite things about Ottawa University is the diversity. We have so many people from all over the world, from all different walks of life, and I'm so thankful to be able to attend school with them. But the month of February has been set aside to celebrate Black history and Black culture. Today, I'm honored to accept this proclamation on behalf of Ottawa University and highlighting every Black student that has come before me and that will come after me. Thank you guys so much.
I'd ask the mayor to come down, if you would, please. I think the proclamation and what the young lady said from Ottawa University speaks well about. Black History Month is something we do every year. I hope it's something that we don't take for granted. History is history. Take the time to study our history and learn our history. Mayor, if you come on over here so I don't have to walk over there. Want to thank the mayor for the Martin Luther King proclamation. Did an outstanding job. And you know, a lot of times we do proclamations, and I've been privileged to read a few of those myself, and we'll read the proclamations, that's it. But sometimes it helps to add a little bit more to the proclamation to what it really means. And Mayor, you really did that at the program, so we want to thank you. And being part of history, I want to give you a book that I wrote. I think is apropos. You know, I was first African American to serve on the Ottawa City Commission and serve as mayor. And then the second one I want to give you is called Black Heroes. And hope you take the time to read that. I've looked at it, and I found some things in there that I've learned that were pretty interesting. So
I will do that. Thank you.
thank you.
I do have to give a shout out to definitely the students who wrote the Martin Luther King essays. Many of them read their essays at the presentation, and it was fantastic. So there may be some more Ottawans writing books in the future if they keep writing that way. So thank you guys for being here as well. And I was going to tell Lauren before she ran out, I was so impressed that she was able to look up the entire time. I don't ever memorize speeches or anything like that. I'm always like looking down, and she did fantastic. So I don't know if she's in speech at OU, but it's working if so. That will take us to item 8, consent agenda, which consists of minutes from our January 21st, 2026 meeting. Item B, our partner agency reports for December 2025 for Ottawa Library, Ottawa Main Street Association, Prairie Paws Animal Shelter, and an agenda approval. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. That'll take us to item 9, declaration. At this time, I'd like to give the commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication that they've had that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially. Hearing none, that will take us to we'll skip item 10, unfinished business, as there is none. Item 11, new business. Item 11A, interviews for City of Ottawa boards. We'll go ahead and start with number 1, Kurt Beard for ORC. Welcome, please. Well, thank you for being here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we?
My name's Kurt Beard. My wife and I, Susan, moved here 10 years ago, and we started Kurt's Ice Cream Truck here in town. You've maybe seen us driving around. And we started programs. Where'd it go? It's called a wooden nickel. A token on it that says, "You've been caught doing good." And on the back it says, "Redeem for one free novelty ice cream at Kurt's Ice Cream." And we give this out to the schools, Wellsville Police Department, Wellsville High School, West Franklin, Central Heights, the Sheriff's Department here. And they pass them out to people that they see, that do something good, picking up some trash, some little thing. And then they come up to us and they give us this token, and we give them a free ice cream. And on the side of our ice cream truck, we have a spin the win wheel. Sorry about that. Big old wheel you spin. It's like the Wheel of Fortune, and people are going do, 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 waiting for the certain thing to come up. And they get whatever simple prizes on our Tootsie Roll, Tootsie Pops, a sucker. We also started a program of bicycles. We have a program that if someone brings the bicycle when we're out on an event, we give them a free ice cream and they give us a bicycle, and we rebuild it and give them out to people. Since October, we've given out 50 bicycles, free to kids of all ages. And all the bicycles are donated from Ottawa, people from Ottawa. Had 2 bicycles just donated just a couple last night. And a gentleman just came before the meeting, came and picked up 4 bicycles and 2 little electric scooters that you guys have donated for us. And then we give out free to people. This is what I wanted to look at being on the board of directors at ORC, is being able to give back to the community and show them that we actually do care and that we are a community that has feelings for each other. Alongside of the working together on getting healthy, it's amazing. You walk around the track upstairs. It's amazing how many people you see and how many people you don't see. But then when you walk out the door, it's amazing. You all of a sudden, those people you didn't see, you meet them going out. In 2003, Susan and I, when I became a minister, we started a ministry called Journey for Life Ministry. And it's all based on Luke 17:20 and 21, where in essence, the Pharisees are asking Jesus, "Tell us where heaven is." And Jesus responds, paraphrasing, "You can't look up to see heaven or down, because heaven's inside of you." And that's what our focus on Journey for Life is, inside of Kurt. Kurt has a decision and the ability to make a decision where he wants to go, positive or negative. And that's what I think ORC has done with the kids of all ages up there on 15th Street. And this is why I'd like to become a part of this board and actually become part of the association. I've already talked to Mr. Phil, and we've talked about the tokens. This is before I knew I was going to apply for this thing. And he's looking at possibly picking up some tokens and passing them out to the kids that do something. They do extra laps. They do extra push-ups. Something that they didn't think they could do. But now they've done it. And they get a little reward. I enjoy public speaking, and I'm very good at it. And it will work good for ORC to be able to bring other people into from the community to benefit from what's being offered up there.
Well, thank you. Definitely sounds like you have a lot. You've already started kind of like looking into what you might be able to do with ORC. So we have a few questions we're just kind of ask.
Please.
So you've kind of already touched on why you kind of want to serve on the board, kind of the heart behind why you're wanting to be there. Do you have any experience in other places being on a supervisory board or anything like that kind of over an organization or something similar?
Been self-employed since '86. In 1986, I started a company up in Vancouver, Washington, a telephone company called Vantel Northwest Communications. And for 14 years, I started out with $100 to my name and actual pennies sitting on my kitchen table, and turned it into a multi-million-dollar corporation. And in 20, I went bankrupt. So I got a job with the local telephone company. We moved down to Klamath Falls, Oregon, and started our ministry up again down there. And I was told by the higher-ups within CenturyLink or Telephone at the time that I had to make a choice between the ministry or the phone company. And we chose the ministry. And I got an interview with Sprint at the time here in Gardner. And it was just so funny, back in '96, I had come to Gardner to learn about their new phone system that we were going to install. And I just happened to be back here. And then in 15, Susan and I started Kurt's Ice Cream. Now, insofar, we adopted all our children from Vietnam. So we've been through the process of what it takes to have children outside of biological. We've learned that even our children, they're no different than any other child. My wife, Susan, works at the hospital at the ED registration. Our daughter works upstairs in the OB ward. And they asked Madison, "Do you look just like your mother?" And Susan's is red-haired and white. And they're confused that we're actually family. So these organizations I've been involved with have helped me grow, and I've been able to help them grow also.
Awesome. Thank you. Skidmore, do you want to?
Sure. Take another question here for you. Thanks for being here tonight. And what role do you think the city appointee should serve on the ORC board?
Repeat that, please.
What role or what kind of things do you anticipate you can contribute as a board member for the ORC?
Bringing the community together, showing them that what ORC does have to offer, and realizing that they can make these changes in their life if they take the right steps. And ORC has proven, Susan and I have been down there doing our walking around and exercising, and it's helped us. And through that, they will see that they can achieve goals. Some little bitty ones, some big ones. But just walking in that front door is a major step for a lot of people.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You want to go ahead?
Mr. Beard, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate your application to serve on this board. I almost don't want you to get on the board because I don't want you to take away your time from all the other good things that you do for our community. So, but that being said, tell me what recreation means to you.
There's physical and there's emotional recreation. Physical recreation is walking around Kansas Park, walking around the upstairs at ORC, walking on the treadmills. Recreation inside yourself is taking as Pastor mentioned, taking a few minutes to see where we are going and what we've looked at in our life that's taken us off the path that God wants us to follow. And a lot of times that recreation is a lot harder than doing those extra pull-ups or push-ups upstairs. Because the internal recreation means that Kurt has to take responsibility for what Kurt's doing or what the path that Kurt is taking. I mean, I can blame it on the treadmill because it stopped, but when you do it internally, Kurt has to take responsibility for his actions and what he's done. And sometimes that's very difficult.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What types of programming do you think the ORC should offer?
Should offer. I think their over 50 program for seniors should be extended up because 50-year-olds are out still working. And up to 60-year-olds are up working. Us old guys should be going on those tours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what do you feel is the biggest challenge facing the ORC right now?
The biggest challenge facing our city or ORC?
ORC.
ORC. I think getting the word out that they are there for the people. We live in a very poverty-stricken community. And a lot of them don't go up there because of the fees that they charge. But we have to charge fees to be able to keep things going. I think a lot of them are still involved with their iPhones and their gaming and stuff, that they don't take the time to actually go out and see what's going on in the community or at ORC and the programs that they have. I think their volleyball, their baseball, and baseball and softball that they have, and the swimming, I think is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I get to ask the fun one now. If you have a magic wand, if you could make one change in ORC, it doesn't even have to be realistic, but one change, what would that be?
One thing. I would like to see ORC become more involved within the community itself, within the school district. And the children, the kids of all ages in Ottawa as well as USD 290 enjoy walking through that front door and enjoying what's going on there, be it the leisure time, the exercise, the sports, the different sports programs at the field, the swimming. And I think when that opens up, I think it will bring in a lot more people, there again, of all ages. And it isn't just the little kids that are going there.
Awesome. Thank you. You want to start? Final question?
I can do the final one here. I appreciate what you're saying about the kids today. When they do this, they don't get a whole lot of exercise. It doesn't burn a lot of calories doing that on a phone. And I think there is an issue there with getting them off the phones, getting them on a treadmill, or getting them on a track, or participate in some kind of a sport or activity. And I think that you're right on track with that. Also, you mentioned about affordability too. I hope, and maybe you do know this, if you have scholarships available for kids, and is that something you would want to push and develop and grow with?
I was not aware of that, but it's something I would definitely push for and bring it to people's attention. You're talking about the gaming. When Susan and I started Kurt's Ice Cream, we thought we were going to make a killing in the summer when it was 100 degrees. And here I am driving up and down the streets, the music blaring, and the kids are in front of the TV like this and waving from inside the house. They don't come out. But part of what Susan and I did with starting Kurt's Ice Cream is that for that brief moment, that old guy my age standing out mowing the lawn or sitting on their front porch is 10 years old chasing the ice cream truck down the street. For that brief moment, there's a smile. And that's a lot of what Susan and I started Kurt's Ice Cream on. It's the smiles that we get from people.
That makes sense. Well, thank you, and thank you for your application. I appreciate you bringing up on the recreation, the emotional recreation. I thought that was a great point to bring up, that we don't think about a lot, that you learn in sports, you learn that to work with people, you learn to overcome adversity, and some of those things you get from recreation emotionally, not just physically. I know we are going to have these. I think by the end of the meeting, we'll have kind of a discussion about them, and then
Okay.
we'll reach out to you and let you know kind of our decision.
All right.
So thank you
May
for
I
your
ask a
interest.
question?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you know what the right eye said to the left eye?
Mike, you writing this down?
Yeah, he needs to know this. Go ahead.
Don't look now, but something between us smells.
That's
That's good.
that
Hey,
is
you
good.
guys have a blessed day, and thank you.
Thank
so
you,
very
you
much.
as well. Okay, that'll take us to item 11A2, which is John Cohen, his application to be on the Planning Commission. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Do you wanna-
Hello, Commissioners? I'm John Cohen. I'm recently retired President CEO of the Ottawa Chamber of Commerce. I've lived in Franklin County and the Ottawa area all my life. For 40-some years, we had a dairy in northeast Franklin County, and I've served on numerous boards down through the years. I'll let you ask the questions and I'll respond.
We can handle that. I'll lead off with why do you want to serve on the Planning Commission?
I've been to many Planning Commission meetings and worked with Planning Commission in my position as President CEO of the Ottawa Chamber of Commerce. And planning is extremely important in a community. How we grow is who we are. And through that experience and through working mostly with Wendy Lee, who was here at the time, learned a great deal about planning and what it takes to grow a community, and I'd like to be a part of that.
Thank you.
What was your name again? I don't think
Yeah.
I recognized it right. Okay. John, what specific skills, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'll let you answer it here. What skills do you have, qualifications, experience can you offer to the commission?
I see myself as having a lot of patience, the ability to hear both sides and make a decision that I think will be in the best interest of the community. Like I said, I've had a lot of experience with the Planning Commission. I've addressed them on many occasions, usually for something, but at times against something, depending on what it was and what it did for the community. So I think I have something to offer.
Thanks.
John, retirement can't be that boring.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate it. I always think this is a rhetorical question, but we have to ask it because I always like to hear people's responses because it could be one word, it
Yeah.
could be a long answer. But are you willing to set aside personal feelings, relationships, because you've had a lot, in your time here in Ottawa with your positions that you've had, with individuals that you may have come in contact with over those years. Are you willing to set aside those relationships, those feelings, in order to make what you think is the best decision for the city of Ottawa?
I definitely am, and I've done that throughout my career. It's important that we do what's best for the community and not what's best for an individual or what's worse for an individual, which in some cases actually is the case. But it's important that we listen to both sides and then make a decision based on what's best for the community.
Thank you, John.
What do you perceive to be the biggest need or concern regarding the Planning Commission?
Open-mindedness, that goes not only for the Planning Commission, but for the community. If I could do one thing to, as Mr. Clayton asked in the last interview, that make the Planning Commission better, I would get rid of the not in my backyard ideology that exists in our community and ask the question, what is best for this community?
Thank you.
All right, and what role do you see the Planning Commission serving the city of Ottawa?
I see planned growth. I see Ottawa as a community that's poised for growth, that continues to get larger. There's a lot to be done for housing. There's a lot to be done with regards to industry, what industry comes, what the community would like to see, and what kind of growth we want to be involved with.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
I just appreciate your comments about planned growth. We've talked about measured growth is the right concept to have for our community. I think many times how quickly they grew, and their schools, and their infrastructure, their roads, their bridges, everything just suddenly was too
Yeah.
difficult for that fast of a growth. Now, we do need more growth. I think we've had a stagnant population here. I'm seeing some progress in that area. I think had 62 new home permits in 2025. That's the most we've had in quite a bit of time, so.
Olathe is another example of the same
Yeah.
thing you just commented on. As growth came down the interstate, those communities were definitely unprepared. I want this community to be prepared.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
That's great, and hopefully, if you get on the board, you're ready for some work, as I know we've got a lot of things coming down.
Well,
for the
that's
planning
good. That's,
commission.
I'm glad there's a lot of things coming, because that's a good sign.
Yes, for sure. So thank you, John. Okay, while we're on this item, before we move on, just want to go ahead and talk about the two candidates we have, make a decision. Do we want to start with Kurt, since he was the first one? Does anyone have any thoughts, questions, concerns?
I don't know, I'm assuming there's only one opening and one applicant,
I would assume
right?
so, that's what
Yeah,
it says.
I think-
that-
Okay, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
before we weren't
Yeah,
excluding someone.
I
so-
believe we only have one representative on there.
Yeah.
And this would be
Yeah.
that spot.
Okay, okay.
I'm not sure who came off. Do we have two?
Yeah, the Shared Recreation Commission structure, you have 2 representatives, the school district has 2, and then the 4 of them select an at-large representative.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I for one think, he spoke a lot about his passion kind of for recreation, obviously what ORC has to offer, and I think he would be a terrific voice to have on that board for, something that is within his passion area, and he already does a lot for the community, and this could be one more thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'd be a good cheerleader and be a good supporter.
If his handing out of bikes starts to lack, are we able to remove him off
Yeah.
the board?
Or ice cream?
Yeah.
Or ice cream,
Or ice cream,
yes.
yes.
No, I think he did a great job. I think, you're like you mentioned, the passion is there, and certainly would be a benefit to that board.
Great, okay, we will appoint Kurt Beard we don't need a motion or anything, do we?
In this case, since it's a statutory position,
Okay.
I would recommend you do motion and vote on both of these.
Okay.
And separately.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll make the motion, we appoint Kurt Beard to the ORC board.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, Kurt passes. Okay, John, any questions, concerns, comments?
I was gonna say, I've known John most of my life. There's no issue here
Yeah,
at
I was
all
gonna
with
say,
him.
I've known John since
Very good position.
high school.
I remember at K-State, he had a truck, it had a camper shell, that was just a low camper shell, and we'd come home and the cab would be full, so sometimes I'd ride in the back of the truck. No seat belts, I can't believe it. Where's the chief?
I was gonna say,
You're
well,
not-
now that's
yeah,
illegal,
you Can't do
so-
that anymore.
Can't
Yeah.
do that anymore.
Yeah,
The statute of limitations are run out on that, I'm sure, but anyway, he's a great guy. I've known him a long time. There's no issue at all there, so. I think
Certainly a lot of institutional knowledge about the city of Ottawa, so,
Yeah.
would be a benefit to that board also.
Yeah, is he replacing Jack, or do we have two outside of city limits? Because I know this is outside of city limits within 3 miles. Do we know who he's replacing?
Jack
Or we-
him up?
I think Jack is still on.
I didn't
Maxwell?
think Jack
Because I
was.
thought he was, I didn't know if we had another within 3 miles.
You have 2, but
Okay.
I don't recall which.
Which one? Okay,
Yeah.
if he's the other one. Okay, well, either
So
way,
there's Diane.
okay. Well, we will assume
Gary.
that,
I don't know what Diane is. A while.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Okay.
Longstanding vacancy.
Just wanted to make sure before he shows up and there's no seat
Well, and
for
it's
him,
good to
so.
fill that vacancy too. I know the planning commission has had a couple times where they weren't able to have a quorum,
mhm.
because of that vacancy, so it'd be nice to fill that spot.
Yeah. Okay, well, if someone wants to, I will stand for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
We have
I'll
a
second.
motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Motion passes. Thank you to both of them for their interest in serving the community, and I'm sure they will be hearing soon about when their work will begin. That will take us to item 11B. Consider approval of KDOT high-risk urban roads program contract with Director Welsh. Director Welsh will present a KDOT high-risk urban roads program contract. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So unlike Lauren, I believe Lauren was her name a while ago, she stood up here and did a fantastic job giving a speech, didn't ever look down. I'm gonna look down while I do this to make sure that I get the information presented correctly. So what you've got here in front of you is the consideration to approve the Kansas Department of Transportation's high-risk urban road program contract. So this item is for the approval of that participation in the KDOT High-Risk Urban Roads Program. So the program uses federal fund, make sure I'm on the right slide. Program uses federal highway safety improvement funding to make targeted safety improvements at stop-controlled intersections and on local streets. The focus is on low-cost, proven upgrades to improve visibility and driver awareness and reduce crash risk. Ottawa was eligible for this program because we have stop-controlled intersections on the local street system within the urban area boundary that meet KDOT's roadway classification criteria. The city applied and we were approved by KDOT in early December to participate in phase 1 of this program. The intersections included in this project were selected through data-driven statewide screening process developed by KDOT as a part of the high-risk urban roads program. So rather than relying solely on recent crash history, KDOT uses a systemic safety approach that looks for common risk factors at stop-controlled intersections across urban areas. So to be eligible for this program, intersections had to meet all of the following criteria. So 1, they had to be stop-controlled. They had to be located entirely within our local street system. They had to fall within the urban area boundary, and they had to be classified as either major collector or minor arterial roads. So within those eligible locations, KDOT prioritizes intersections based on characteristics that are known to increase crash risk, such as higher traffic volumes, higher posted speeds, skewed or offset intersection geometry, or limited sight distance due to curves or alignment. KDOT provided the city with a predefined list of eligible intersections generated through this screening process. So city staff did not select from the entire street network or choose specific roads independently. Selections were limited to the intersections identified through KDOT as eligible. So city staff then reviewed the list and identified locations that the city owns and maintains. These locations were submitted to KDOT and reviewed and approved by the state as a part of the program award. So each approved intersection receives a standardized safety package designed by KDOT. That includes enhanced stop signs, advanced warning signs, reflective panels on signposts, and new thermoplastic stop bars. Everything installed will be MUTCD compliant and consistent with statewide safety standards. So if you look at the bottom 3 pictures that we have on this slide here in particular, so the first one on the left, it shows the streets that we were accepted through this program. The middle picture there shows the 3-leg minor stop controlled intersection. So if you think of 2nd and Ash, that would be a good representative of what 2nd and Ash is going to look like now through this program. So it would have those stop signs on either side of the road rather than just the right side. It would also include the cross traffic does not stop sign right underneath the stop sign, the stop ahead sign, the T intersection signs, and the 2-way traffic sign. So on the other one, the 4-leg minor stop, you can see the photo there and what it would represent, what it would look like, but 7th and Ash would be a good representation of what an intersection like that would be. So under this program, KDOT purchases and delivers all the approved materials directly to the city. Public Works staff will install the materials at the approved locations and will be responsible for ongoing maintenance, just like we are for all other traffic control devices in the city. Once the materials are received, the city would have 6 months to complete the installation and submit photo documentation to KDOT. And staff has reviewed the scope and confirmed that we do have the capacity to complete the work within that time frame using the existing crews and equipment that we have. There is no direct cost to the city for these materials. They're fully funded through this HRUR program. The city's responsibility is limited to staff labor, equipment use, routine maintenance, which all will be held or handled within the existing public works budgets. This agreement has also been reviewed and approved as to form by our city attorney. This project aligns with our infrastructure and stewardship of resources by improving the safety using outside funding while leveraging city staff. It also supports our quality of life initiative, making everyday travel through Ottawa safer and more predictable for the residents and visitors. So staff recommends the approval of this program contract with KDOT. This approval will allow the city to move forward with receiving these materials, installing the safety improvements, and completing the projects as required by the agreement. And I would answer any questions that you may have.
Now, Director Welch, is this a new trend to have stop signs on both sides of the road? That'd be pretty much statewide, do you think, or where's that going?
It is happening statewide, so you do start to see it on some of the larger intersections in some cities. This particular HRUR program is new, so they are really starting to push this initiative of these safer intersections, but yeah, it's happening other places, but it is fairly new. Yeah, as far as the stop signs on both sides, they've found that it is proving that it makes the intersection safer, making people aware that, hey, there is definitely a stop sign here. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Director Welsh, for that. Did you mention kind of back towards the beginning that this was like a phase one?
Mm-hmm.
So does the state anticipate having this annually, do you know, biannually, or is it available and you can kind of apply throughout the year for it? Do you know what that process looks like?
I think that this particular one, the phase one, was just this one time, and then phase two may incorporate some of these things, but it's going to branch out further. And I don't know what phase two exactly looks like, but it wouldn't be this alone. It may be a part of this,
Okay.
with some other things included.
And do you know, you may not know off the top of your head, I saw we had 8 approved. Do you know how many total we had that would be eligible?
I think there may have been like 10 or 12 that would have been eligible. So part of the reason why we didn't just choose all 12, actually the main reason, was everything that you say that you're going to improve. So if you say that you're going to improve one intersection and that stop sign is a 30-inch stop sign, you have to upgrade the size of the stop sign. So in some of the intersections, we already had 36-inch stop signs, so the next upgrade from that is a 48-inch sign, which is significantly larger. So we determined that it probably wasn't the best intersection to put such large signs, especially on 2 different sides of the road.
Awesome. And then, what was on that bump? You mentioned like a stop bump that would basically be going across. Is that similar to kind of a speed bump? Is that something that will actually stick up out of the road?
It's a stop bar. So most of our stop bars throughout the city are just painted on. These ones are just thermoplastic that basically you heat them up and they stick, kind of like a sticker.
Okay.
But there would not be
Not like a
bump
speed
there.
bump or
No,
anything
no
like that.
speed bump.
Just- Okay. Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
I don't think so. We've got the funding for the, what was it, 8 intersections
Yeah. for-
already. I
yeah,
mean,
for
they're
us.
going to supply the funding. We just got to supply the labor.
Yeah, we're just, the only thing that's going to cost us is the labor
Okay,
to
so
install.
and they-
then the
but they've
maintenance-
already all
the
been
maintenance
approved.
to keep up for, yeah.
I saw we have to install them within 6 months. Do you know how long before they expect to be on site?
I don't know that right off the top of my head. I don't remember what the delivery date was going to be, but we first have to get them back to the signed contract to say, yes, we're wanting to move forward.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would anticipate that they would all be installed before the end of the summer.
Okay. Great. With that, I'll stand for a motion unless anyone has any other questions.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we approve the KDOT High Risk Urban Roads Program contract.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. May I get roll call vote, please?
How do you vote, Commissioner Van Layden?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
And Mayor Clayton?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. That'll take us on to item 11C, fourth quarter 2025 reports, and active project update by interim city manager Finch. Department directors submit reports for the fourth quarter of 2025 and active project updates. Thank
Good
you.
evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. In your program this evening, you have between pages 66 and 89 a combination of the fourth quarter of 2025 reports. We do have various team members from staff here tonight to answer questions if you have specific questions about any of those reports. And then if you flip back to about page 86, you get into the active project summary. I don't know if we don't have slides on these. And so you have them in your agenda packet for this evening. Just briefly, the Proximity Park Water Tower, about 96% complete. We do have the high service pump upgrades and paint and parts ready for final disinfection and fill. We do have the residential electric meter replacement. That project is another one that's almost complete at 96%. And the three-phase meter completion was about halfway done by the end of 2025. City Hall HVAC, you're about to enter into phase 2 of that project, and your meetings will be off-site for the next month or so while the contractor begins to work downstairs. They are mostly complete upstairs, and we are seeing some offices that are on this floor move up so that they can continue working in this building while phase 2 is completed on this floor, and then they'll move to the basement and do the last part of the project, and that will begin in March. So at the time of the writing of these reports, the end of the fourth quarter, you can see is about 2%. There was not a lot done on that project at that point. We have now since estimated we're probably closer to 45 to 50% complete at this point. In terms of disruption to staff and folks coming into the City Hall. And then I think that is the final in terms of the active projects. We do want to get you quarterly reports. So what you're seeing again, I know this is February and you're getting the report for the end of December. You can anticipate that the first quarter of 26 report will be to you and discussed in one of the first meetings in April. We want to move up and have you getting this information within a month or so of the end of the quarter so that you're able to review those. So if you have any questions, we're happy to stand for questions on whether it's major projects or any of the department reports, and our team is here to answer those questions.
Thank you. I just want to say, I think I say this every single time we have it, but there is so much information in these. It's always kind of a fun read through, and there's always numbers that just jump out at me. And so, just kind of some shout outs to a few of the places, with OMA, 26,000 visitors seems that's pretty amazing to think that every resident of Ottawa could have visited twice and still have some room. And so capacity is 400? 800. Oh, 800. Oh, I'm way off. Okay. It seems a lot smaller when you're in there maybe. But so 800, so that's a lot of full concerts and a lot of events throughout the year, and I think that's great. I do want to give a shout out again. We had our grant presentation a few weeks ago, but again, the amount of money that we were able to bring into the community, I think, for the year is just fantastic. So thank you for your work on that. And then neighborhood and community services, as Commissioner Skidmore mentioned, 62 new homes and 48 remodels in a year, which is pretty amazing. You start really looking around town. 62 is a lot of new homes. If your average, is 2 to 4 people in a home, that's more residents coming to town. And then I saw golf had 12,718 rounds this year. We started March 1st, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing too. And obviously, all your other departments, there's so many numbers in there. Those were just a few that jumped out at me. So I definitely want to recommend people. It's on the agenda packet. Look those things over as well. Does anyone else have questions or comments on current projects? Or
Mr. Finch, has staff had any conversations about our off-site meeting area ideas where those might occur?
Yeah, absolutely. And Commissioner, you'll start to see those show up in the agenda next week. February 11th will be at Ottawa Municipal Auditorium. So I want to invite the public. All our times remain the same. So that's your second meeting of the month. That's a 4 p.m. meeting, OMA. Tiffany gave us a discount to come down there.
Is the concession stand still open?
There will be popcorn.
Yeah, is there free popcorn?
There will be popcorn. That was part of
Good
the rental
choice
rate
on the
that we
first
paid. As you pointed out, there are 800 seats, so
Yeah.
we can fill it
people
up
can come.
if we need to. I see Mrs. Campbell's here tonight. She had a couple of her students. If Hayden and Kennedy want to come back, they're more than welcome. They can bring 790 or so of their friends and fill the place up. So the 11th will be at OMA. The week after, your 10 a.m. meeting will be at Corner Market in the gallery room on the south end of that facility. The next week after that, on the 25th, will be at the Fusion Alley meeting rooms. We're working with them, and then hope to be at Ottawa University for the next meeting after that. And hopefully we can be in the union and maybe get some college students to come over and be part of the meeting as well. So those are the next four. And we think we'll be back here after that. It will only take 4 meetings off-site, and Paul is riding herd on that project as the city's project manager, and he has assured us that it will be done. So enough for you to get back in this room anyway. So
I certainly appreciate those options. It's been years, I think, since the commission actually went out. I think you two were on the board, right? Kime Bakery was one of them.
I think I've been out when we've had.
So, I mean, it's been a while since we've actually been out and you know, in the public. I know it gets a little scary standing up, you know, at that podium or, you know, sitting in the seat sometimes. And we want to get out there and be amongst the, you know, our friends and family and our neighbors, you know, so they feel more comfortable and can come talk to us about anything that, you know, they feel, you know, the need to mention to us. So hopefully that gives them the opportunity, and, you know, I think it'll be real fun. And certainly Fusion Alley and OU, I think those are two I'm certainly looking forward to. So thank you. Thank you to staff for setting those up.
We get to play
kudos to our
miniature
staff
golf.
and Laura Matthews.
Yeah, we get to play miniature golf while we have our meeting, right?
Maybe after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how we approve stuff, you know?
Low score gets to make the decision.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, police chief, on the crime 5-year trend being down. I know 22, 23 was kind of a hiccup years, but we certainly brought it down since then. So congratulations to you and your staff for keeping that way, moving in the right direction. So congrats.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, if I could just say on behalf of the staff team here, thank you to the commission. I just want to say thank you to all of these folks that do the hard work every day. This report shows really where the rubber meets the road in terms of governance, whether it's filling potholes or granting permits or the uptime that you see in IT or the shows that come to OMA. You know, every member of the team has a valued function here, and the job that they do, from law enforcement and fire protection, you know, all the way to finance, and what you see here are the metrics that we're using to define success in these roles. And these folks are dedicated public servants who come to work every day and want to do the best that they can to deliver excellent service to the constituents in this community. So I just want to give them the praise that they deserve, and I want to say thanks to Misty in Communications for her work putting this report together. I think it's a very readable format. I think it's one that's approachable for folks to come and see these things kind of laid out in statistics and graphs and grids that are pleasing to the eye and easy for people to make sense of the data. So just want to say thank you to staff for their work. Thank you for recognizing them.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, that'll take us on to item 12, comments by our city manager.
All right. Some operational highlights. We had some electric distribution hands-on training for our apprentices. Our apprentice program has been very successful in terms of getting young people to their education and then coming back to us to work as linemen. It's one of the things that we struggle with, not just in Ottawa, but around the state when you talk about municipal utilities. How do you find young people willing and able to go through the program? It's fairly demanding and rigorous, and willing to come out and be an apprentice and work in this field, especially when private investor-owned utilities and private utility companies can pay much more sometimes than cities can. And a lot of times we feel like the Royals used to be. We're a farm club. We get people and we train them, and then they go make more money working in the private sector somewhere else. So this apprentice program has been great for finding talent, in some cases local homegrown talent, and helping them get their education with a commitment that they come back here and help the folks in Ottawa. So Neighborhood and Community Services had this walkthrough inspection of the HVAC project on the second floor of City Hall. As I mentioned earlier, that's how we're able to move some offices upstairs. Your finance department, utility payment processing that happens down here on the ground floor. We're gonna be moving some of those folks upstairs. Some of the other folks who've been out of the building are still gonna remain out of the building. It's just easier to move once rather than move twice. But it's been a fairly substantial disruption for folks here, but the priority is staying open for the public and making sure that they can get to the services they need, the counters that they need, and the people that they need here at City Hall. Public Works, I'm going to ask Director Welsh, DJ, come up and give a little update on Winter Storm Fern and the work that your folks did. We haven't had a chance to get together since that storm hit, so I want him to be able to share with you some operational highlights from that.
Thank you, Mr. Finch. Yeah. First off, thank you for the recognition. I mean, it's always great to be able to stand up and recognize our employees for the great work that they do. So I appreciate the fact that I get to stand up here and do that part now. Before the storm hit, the quote-unquote storm hit, I kind of stood up here and made a joke that maybe if I talk about it, it won't really happen. Well, we didn't get near the amount of snow that they anticipated that we were going to get. So maybe I kind of halfway talked it into existence that we didn't get the 12 to 14 inches or whatever they thought they were going to get. But in the reality, we still did get 5 to 6 inches of snow. So our crews, they were on standby that Friday night. We had a full crew come in at midnight. They were on staff. Really, it didn't start to accumulate too terribly much until early that morning. So about 4 o'clock in the morning, they began plowing. So they worked 12-hour shifts. So that shift worked until noon, and then the next shift come in and worked from noon to midnight. And then we had one following shift come in after that worked midnight to noon, and they had already covered the entire town by that time. All of the downtown was done. A lot of your main thoroughfares were done multiple times, and there were even some of the residential streets that were done multiple times. So they did a fantastic job. I can't be more proud of the work that they were able to take care of in a short amount of time. So after that, I requested that they go home and get some rest. That evening, that Sunday evening, they came back in at 8 o'clock, and they worked on hauling snow from the downtown area. I was thinking that it was probably going to be a 12-hour session. They would probably, the folks that were getting up Monday morning traveling to work were probably going to have a little bit traffic interruption. No, they were done by 4:30 that morning, so hopefully nobody has to get up and be traveling down Main Street at 4:30 in the morning to head to work, but few and far between probably are the ones that were affected. So they did a fantastic job. They hauled, I think it was actually 282 loads from our central business district in 8.5 hours. So wonderful job. Kudos to all of those guys. It wasn't just Public Works. This is Public Works, utilities. It's an all hands on deck. We had 26 staff members that were operating equipment, and then we also had our 2 mechanics that were on staff the entire time. So the 2 mechanics saw their share of work as they worked through this 36 hours or whatever it was. We only had 2 major breakdowns that took a couple of pieces of equipment out, but they were able to work around. They were still able to get the job done. So kudos to everybody involved.
Awesome. Well, thank you on that. Do you know, by chance, roughly what each load would be? Is it a 6-ton dump truck?
5 ton is the limit that you're supposed to haul in those.
Okay.
Yep.
So a lot of snow.
A lot of snow.
And I don't know, did you have any other feedback? Because I thought it went great. I was driving down about 8 in the morning and expected to run into people, and it was clear. It looked great. Kind of compared to how you've done it in years before, has this worked better?
I've talked to a couple of the folks. So the main difference in what we've done this time, not only the fact that we have more support as far as extra staff, but we did the downtown district differently this year, and it was questionable on how it was going to work out, whether the parked cars were going to be in the way, and the majority of them, majority of folks got this stuff off of Main Street. There were still some of them that were parked along Main Street that we were still able to work around, but most of the folks in the community that I've talked to really appreciated it being done this way. So yeah, everything that I've heard has been positive, so that's a good thing.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you to you and the 28 staff members and stuff who helped as well.
Yeah, thank you guys. I gotta say, I think the streets were as clean, good as I've ever seen them. as quickly as I've ever seen it done. And I like the video updates you were doing too along the way. That kind of, you know.
And that's what I was going to touch on a little bit. I appreciated the updates. It really personalized everything. You know, everybody sits there and says, "Hey, I appreciate the hard work," but when you see it, when you're sitting right next to them, you're driving down the road, and you see the hard work that those people put in on their faces. It really personalized. It makes you appreciate, you know, as you're sitting in your home, you know, scrolling through your phone, what you guys are all doing for us. And I certainly hope that if you didn't just read them all, that the people that were out there working, you know, their butts off that night read those comments, because there was a substantial amount of really nice comments that our friends and neighbors were making.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did read through all of those comments, and I would, you know, personally, yes, I would thank all of the community for their support, but I also thank you for saying that, and I'll make sure that everybody else hears that as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Commissioners, we have some open positions still. We still are looking for a great candidate to be a police officer, and want to encourage people, if law enforcement is something that they believe is their vocation, to apply. That position will be open until we get it filled. We've got some upcoming events: cultural breakfast at OMA on February 11th, in conjunction with Ottawa University. The country this year is Columbia, so it'll be Columbian breakfast for cultural appreciation. Wednesday, February 19th, at the library's second location over on Walnut, speaker and magician will be present. And then the Ottawa Area Chamber of Commerce Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge. You'll recall this was part of the e-community program that the city picked up and made sure we got directed to the Ottawa Area Chamber, and thanks to them being willing to partner with us and with State Network Kansas to get this done. That event will still go off on February 26th. Misty, are you still looking for a few judges, or have you got that filled? Okay. Want to encourage everybody, we had judge openings. Now that they're full, please come out and walk through the fair that day and see the projects, and talk to these young entrepreneurs about their projects and what they're doing. You know, economic development, sometimes we tend to think of it as recruiting businesses from somewhere else to come to Ottawa, but there are a lot of great homegrown businesses right here in our community that we can spotlight and celebrate, and having another generation interested in starting a business is going to be a great sign for our community moving forward. Tentative items for your February 11th meeting. You can see that's going to be a lengthy agenda. We will spend some time, so it's a good thing that Tiffany will have the popcorn ready and the concession stand open so that we can go through these things with you. I want to ask Utilities Director Scott Sneathen to come up for just a second and give you an update on the flashing four-way stop at First and Main. There's been folks asking what's going on there, and how long is it going to be before we get the stoplight back, and others saying, no, I kind of like it the way it is. So we'll let Scott give you the update and tell you what's happening.
Thank you, Mr. Finch. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, for being here tonight. The four-way stop at First and Main is a product of a traffic accident that happened in late September of '25. The last time that this intersection went into four-way stop, we were able to get the contractor down and to reset it manually through his laptop. He was not able to do that successfully this time. We believe that there's a wiring issue within the conduit of that traffic signal, and staff has decided that it would probably be in the best interest to not try to pull all new wire through that damaged pole. A new pole was ordered shortly after in October to replace that, and it is anticipated to be on site and ready to be installed that first week of March. So instead of redoing all that infrastructure in that utility pole, we decided to hold off, not spend the money to do that, and wait until the new pole gets done, and the contractor will do that as they erect that new pole.
Awesome. Thank you. And that was something I had down to ask you to bring you up and just kind of get an update on as well. And so with that, you said it was a traffic accident. Someone ran into the pole, so there was physical damage, that damaged equipment inside.
Yes, and staff has tried to repair this controller many times. It's gone into four-way flash a few times since the accident. And this time, we don't know if it was a weather incident or whatever, but it just tripped it, and it will not reset.
Well, we will look forward to early March then and some updates as we get closer to that.
Most definitely.
While I have you, so you don't have to come back up again, could you give us just a quick update on where we're at for 15th and Main?
15th and Main, we have the preliminary plans back. The sidewalk is included in that, heading west to the trail. We are at the part now where we gain access to that right-of-way. So that easement there on the corner of the Dairy Queen there, where it's going to cut across that sidewalk, we're in the process of gaining that. Director Harkins is in the process of getting those documents prepared and ready for signature.
Okay, awesome. Do we have, are we looking at this summer, this fall? Do we have any idea on?
There's anticipation of the RFP going out by the end of February.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So soon.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
While we're talking about intersections, I want to get you up to date and let the public know that we did get the engineering study back on 15th and Ash. We had done we'd had the city's engineer do a study there, not only crash history over the last 5 years or so, but any recommended safety improvements for that intersection. Good news is that there have been relatively few crashes over the last 5 years. I think it was under 4. The ratio, the engineers do an equation and a calculation to come up with an index, and it was actually on the lower side of risk in terms of the statistics and crash data. As you heard earlier, it is in our high-risk intersections, though, for purposes of the KDOT grant for increasing signage. In addition to analyzing the crash history and the geometry of the intersection, the engineers did come back with recommendations on upgrades to that intersection. They include, if you'll note, if you ever drive down 15th, you'll see there's actually a stop bar. Mr. Mayor, we were talking about stop bars earlier, there's a stop bar on 15th Street, and it's out of place. It should not be there since traffic does not stop along 15th Street. So they recommend removing that and updating some of the stop bars on Ash and yield markings, which are diamonds. So imagine if you kind of cut like a jigsaw pattern into a stop bar. Looks like a set of stair risers laid on its side. That would be a yield bar in an intersection, and so it does recommend the addition of those, as well as the signage that you'll see here in the HRUR grant, and then some flashing pedestrian beacons. We've probably seen those flashing yellow lights when someone's in the crosswalk, and so we are in the process, thanks to City Clerk Sherman. We have already are in the queue for a KDOT grant to fund that, and we are waiting on KDOT to sign off on the grant. We've been approved. We're waiting for them to sign off on the grant, and we are going to go ahead and go forward with the engineering that is needed to install those flashing pedestrian beacons. And so as it warms up, you'll see the pavement markings begin to come in and the signage go in, and then as soon as we have the engineering complete on the installation side and the money from KDOT, you'll see the flashing pedestrian beacons go in there at 15th and Ash. So, and that will complete all of the recommended improvements to the intersection from the engineering study. Any questions on that?
Awesome. Not really a question. I just wanted to point out, I always find when we get traffic studies, all the different places over town, as I've seen them being on the commission, it's amazing seeing the 24-hour totals being 5,179 vehicles. You know it's a busy intersection, but 5,000 seems like a lot in 24 hours to imagine cars going by. And so thank you for your work on that and for getting that
Yeah,
rolling.
absolutely, and we look forward to seeing improvements there and improvements throughout our community. And it really does go back to the work that City Clerk Sherman has done in conjunction with our other staff to get these grants and have that availability so that we're not having to spend that out of the city's general fund. We're not having to tap into property taxes every time. We can utilize those grant funds coming in from outside of Ottawa to help make those improvements. That really does help us, and it helps us to be quick and more responsive than we could otherwise be, as you're all getting ready to talk about the 2027 budget. And you think if we had to budget those funds and do it that way, we may not be able to do those improvements until calendar year 2027. So having those grants gives us a huge head start and the ability to respond quickly. So thanks to City Clerk Sherman and to our staff who works with her to get all the information ready for those grants. I think that's it for City Manager comments. Oh, yeah, the Finance Director would like to speak.
Thank you. Just a note for our utility customers, because we are going to be moving our front desk utility payment counter upstairs. We do have ways that our customers can pay other than coming into the building if they so choose. We have our drop box in the parking lot, which is a great way if you don't want to come into the building. We have online payments available, our pay by phone option, which is just by calling the main line to City Hall. And then also, if they do want to come into the building and visit us, they'll need to come to the elevator or use the stairs to come upstairs to the second floor to make payments. But we will be open and available, just not as easily accessible as usual.
With that, Melanie, do you know, will there be signage up, down as people come in the door to kind of direct them upstairs, I assume?
We will, and we have a payment date coming up, I believe, on Tuesday, so we wanted to just make sure that we made note to anybody who might be listening. We will have some signage on the front door, also inside the lobby, and then we'll try and pay attention to the cameras in case there's anyone wandering around, not sure where to go. So.
Awesome, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, last item I have for you is just an update for the public on the city manager search. We did have interviews with finalists yesterday. I anticipate a formal announcement regarding the process at your next meeting on the 11th.
Awesome, thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll move us on to item 13, comments by the governing body. We'll start with Commissioner Van Lieden.
No comments.
Commissioner Allen.
I have no comment.
Commissioner Skidmore.
I have nothing more to add.
Mayor Pro Tem Crowley.
No comment.
Okay, well, I'm going to have some comments, and no one else did. I want to give a shout out to the chamber for the chamber banquet. Was that last week? I'm losing track of time, but I think last week. Shout out to Ryland, Sherry, JJ, and their board for the work they put on. I did want to highlight Chief Weingartner and his award for the community builder. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything. Don't feel like you need to say anything, but I did just want to give you the opportunity and just highlight you for that award and the years of service that you've put into the community.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess you won't be the only one to make comments. I don't want to leave you alone up there. Yeah, I'll just keep my remarks brief. Me personally, as an employee, and as a community member, and as a member of the city, have been associated or part of the chamber for quite a long time. Went through leadership Franklin County, served on the leadership Franklin County Board of Directors, finished my term as board president, and have been readily engaged and involved in a lot of that. So when I have attended these banquets in the past and seen many of these awards handed out, and you listen to those wonderful summaries that are read, and sometimes you can kind of know what's happening, other times it's a complete surprise. But to just know that somebody thought enough of me and the work that I've done and tried to do with all of the officers of the department, my current team, the team in the past, my mentors, all of the people who helped me along the way, to get that recommendation and nomination, and then to surprisingly so be selected, was the absolute honor and most humbling experience of my professional career by far. And I'm so thankful for that. And you look around that room, and it is a bunch of amazing people doing amazing things to support our community. And I can't wait to go back next year, and who gets to have that same chance that I have.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, thank you. It's well deserved,
Yeah.
and you should have them print out what they read about you, because it just put it somewhere in your office, because it sounds so. I don't know who wrote it, but it sounds.
Yeah,
so
I didn't
good.
really hear anything after about 3/4 of the way
Yeah.
through, because I was getting so nervous and trying to keep my emotions in check to get up there and say a few words. We have the opportunity to speak in front of this podium quite often, which is tough, but okay. That one was pretty tough.
A little
to do.
different.
Yeah, that was.
Well, you did a good job. You gave your wife the credit. So.
Absolutely.
Anything you said other than that, I don't really remember, because that's what stuck out. So you did a good job.
Thank you.
So I want to say thank you,
Appreciate it.
congratulations
Yep,
again.
I appreciate you saying those kind words.
I have no other comments. That'll take us to item 14, announcements. As was mentioned earlier, the February 11th commission meeting at 4 p.m. will be at OMA. The February 18th meeting at 10 a.m. will be at Corner Market. The February 25th meeting at 4 p.m. will be at Fusion Alley. And then I believe the one after that will be at OU. And all of those will be on the agenda, so if someone wants to attend and is unsure where, you can always check the agenda for those locations on there. we do not need anything? Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay. Okay, well, we need an executive session. I will stand for that motion.
I move that we go into executive session for 10 minutes to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel for the purpose of reviewing applicants pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1. The open meeting will resume in this room at
Probably give us 2 minutes or so to get in there, so 27.
8:27.
Ready? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? We're in executive session. I will entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are out of executive session. That will take us to item 16, which is to adjourn.